and welcome to Boho Jewel on YouTube. Today I want to share with you just a few little tips on how to take care of your resin jewelry. So whether you make resin jewelry or if you've just purchased some lovely little resin piece from someone, of course you want to keep it as beautiful as you can for as long as you can to enjoy it or to be able to sell it. Right? So a few tips that I have, and it's really kind of a good across the board thing for most jewelry. But tip number one is to make sure you're not soaking your jewelry in water. So sometimes when people buy these little seashell necklaces, they want to wear them to the beach, and that makes sense. It's kind of beach jewelry. My tip is to make sure you're wearing it when you're going out to eat or you're shopping, not when you're actually in the ocean or the pool or if you're taking a shower, because you're going to first of all kind of damage your chains and the clasps. They're going to start to oxidize really quickly, and then you can also create some yellowing in the resin, and just the water and the heat out in the sun, it's going to create some expansion, and you don't want that to happen. You can cause your pieces to crack or start to discolor. Which brings me to tip number two. Keep your pieces out of the sun as much as possible. Now, normal everyday wear is one thing. Obviously, when you're going outside, you're not going to be covering up every time you're out in the sunlight. But don't accidentally leave them maybe on the dash of your car or store them somewhere in your home next to a window where lots and lots of sunlight comes in. If your resin pieces start to get exposed to a lot of sunlight on a regular basis or extreme heat, it's going to create kind of a really early quick discoloring in the resin, and you could end up with your resin starting to yellow. Now, I like to use a clear glaze on my pieces to kind of help protect against that a little bit, but it is kind of a natural process of the resin, and depending on which resin you're using, it may discolor faster than some of the others, but it's still a really good rule of thumb. So especially if you're selling, make sure you're keeping your pieces covered or bringing them out if you're selling outdoors, to make sure you're rotating them out so they don't get too much exposure. Okay, tip number three. This is also a good one for all kinds of jewelry. Try to avoid chemical exposure to your jewelry. Now, these are not things you might necessarily think of, but when we're spraying products like cleaning products or hairspray, if you have your earrings on right before you spray your hair, you're going to expose the metals in the jewelry pieces as well as your resin to all those chemicals, and that's going to create some discoloration, and it's going to create oxidation in the metal components as well. And then tip number four, especially if you're selling your resin jewelry, you want to keep them in these little plastic bags. So if you just have little plastic bags like this, I like to store all of my stuff in these until I'm actually ready to lay them out and sell them. It keeps the air off of them a little bit, and it kind of protects them a little before I'm ready to sell them. And if you ever purchase from me, you're probably going to get them in one of these bags if you purchase online, or you can just buy the little plastic bags. And if you're one of those people that's really good about taking care of things, you could put your jewelry in little separate bags like this and even store them like this at home. Most of us don't do that, but if you really want your jewelry to last, that's one way to keep the air and oxygen off and get it to last a little longer. So I hope you enjoyed these tips. I hope they were helpful and made some sense. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel for more tips, how-to videos, and business advice. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks a lot.